You know that feeling, right? That moment where you're stuck somewhere, maybe an elevator, maybe a party,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just desperately trying to make small talk, and it feels less like talking and more like, I don't know, some terrible Olympic sport where nobody wins.
Oh, yeah. The awkward silent sport. I
T
know it well.
exactly. That cringy, like, gut-wrenching quiet after someone forces out a comment, and your brain is just screaming, "Say something, anything!" But nothing comes out. We've all been there.
It's that massive internal monologue, isn't it? You're composing like whole essays in your head about something,
Right.
while on the outside you maybe manage a grunt or a nod.
Right.
It's just how we deal with social discomfort, I think.
Absolutely. And today we're diving deep into this narrative that just perfectly captures the comedy and the complexity of exactly this kind of thing.
This human interaction piece.
Yeah. Our mission really in this deep dive is to kind of unpack the subtle signals, those really rich internal thoughts, and the surprising, often kind of roundabout ways we try to connect.
Even when it feels like everything is going wrong. Hilariously wrong sometimes.
Totally. We want to explore what these unspoken thoughts and, these fumbling attempts really tell us about ourselves.
Yeah, and it's amazing how much mental energy, emotional energy goes into these strained situations. It's like this invisible work we're all doing.
That's a great way to put it. Invisible work.
And often it just leads to more confusion, maybe.
Yeah.
But it's something everyone experiences. It shapes our relationships.
And our source material for this is just fantastic. It's this compelling narrative excerpt, a really vivid glimpse into the lives of two people, Mara and Liam.
Yeah.
And they're stumbling through this unbelievably awkward morning together. It's got so many moments where you just think, oh, yep, I know
Right.
that feeling.
Getting ready. Let's get into it.
So let's jump right in. The first scenario the narrative sets up is this unlikely truce. We meet Mara and Liam. They're living under the same roof. It's late November in D.C. And they're trying to maintain this informal truce. Now, the good news is this means significantly fewer shouting matches.
Okay, that's something.
But the story makes it crystal clear. It absolutely does not make finding things to talk about any easier. The atmosphere, that the author just says it's awkward as, well, let's just say profoundly awkward.
And what's striking there is how the truce, which is supposed to, make things better,
Right. Less fighting.
it actually seems to amplify the social discomfort. It creates this communication vacuum, doesn't it? That shouting stops, but this like suffocating silence takes over.
Yeah.
It really shows the power of those established patterns. Even trying to fix things can create new kinds of tension. It's like avoiding one problem just makes another pop up.
Totally. And then, out of this, profound awkwardness, Liam makes this unexpected move.
Okay.
He looks at Mara and says, "It's nice outside today." And the story really stresses how this is like the last thing Mara would expect him to say.
Wow. Okay. So it's a super low stakes comment, right?
Yeah.
Weather. Universal.
Totally basic.
But the fact it's unexpected from him tells you everything about their usual dynamic. Suggests they don't normally do pleasantries at all.
Exactly.
So for him to even say that, it must have been like a big mental leap. It's not just small talk. It feels like he's trying to signal something. A change, maybe.
An attempted détente, yeah. And Mara's reaction, this is where her internal world just explodes.
Okay, here we go.
Internally, she is off. She immediately links the unseasonably warm weather to climate change. She's thinking about this paper in Nature Climate Change.
Oh, wow. Top journal.
Yeah, by someone named Helena with a zillion citations. She even thinks about lecturing Liam for hours, being her most obnoxious self.
Huh. So a full internal TED Talk is brewing.
Pretty much, but what actually comes out?
Let me guess. Not much.
Barely anything. A very curt, yeah. Followed by this nod that's described as sprain your neck enthusiastic overcompensating.
Oh, wow. That gap, the huge gap between the inside and the outside.
That's the core of it, right?
It really is. It's such a key thing about how we communicate or fail to communicate sometimes. We have these incredibly complex thoughts, analyses, witty replies.
Whole Broadway shows in our heads.
Exactly. While the external self is just minimal. And what's going on there, it's often self-censorship, isn't it? Trying to avoid more awkwardness.
Yeah.
Maybe not wanting to overshare.
Or like Mara not wanting to be that obnoxious self she knows she can be.
Right. And that effort, just holding back all those thoughts, that cognitive load, it creates a bigger barrier than just being shy. It shows how much processing is happening under the surface.
And the result? Predictably, maybe. Despite Liam's attempt, despite Mara's whole internal climate change symposium,
Back to silence.
back to square one,
Yeah.
silence. It just shows how hard it is to break those patterns, you know? Even if maybe both of them kind of want to, that awkwardness inertia is strong.
It really is. The habits of their truce are so ingrained that even a, clumsy but maybe genuine attempt just doesn't get any traction.
Huh.
It's this cycle that's hard to break because, in a weird way, the predictable discomfort feels safer than trying something new.
The comfort of the familiar, even if the familiar is, well, awful.
Exactly.
Okay, so that silence was one thing, but Mara's next move to kind of deal with it leads to, I think, an even better moment. We're calling it the Cheez-It caper.
Ooh, okay. The Cheez-It caper.
Mara, desperate for something, anything else to focus on, decides she needs a snack. And we get this look into her head. She can't find the single-serving Cheez-Its.
The little bags.
Right, but she finds multiple family-sized boxes. Jesus, I have a problem, she thinks.
Relatable.
And then she finally sees the small bags, but they're on the highest shelf, and she just thinks, that's a problem for future Mara. We all know future Mara, don't we?
Oh, yes. Future me has to deal with a lot of stuff present me puts off. It's fascinating, though, how finding a snack becomes this, high-stakes internal drama. It's like a substitute for figuring out the talking thing. We shift to these concrete tasks, finding snacks, because dealing with people feels so much more ambiguous and uncomfortable. It's classic displacement.
And here's where her internal world just goes into overdrive. She can't reach the Cheez-Its. She has to turn to Liam.
The moment of truth.
And his reaction, he's just staring at where my shirt rode up on my lower back.
Oh, dear. Oh.
And Mara's brain, immediate panic, stations. She thinks he's horrified by her 8-year-old sweatpants, by her explosion of freckles, or, and this is the best part, by her Jeff Goldblum's face, Hannah got me last year, panties.
Jeff Goldblum panties. That's amazing.
She's worried she'll be reported to the underwear police and executed by the Victoria's Secret mob.
Wow. Okay. That spiral. It really raises that question about self-perception versus reality, doesn't it? How much of our discomfort is just us, our own anxieties about being judged, rather than what the other person is actually thinking? Mara's projecting so much onto that one glance. It's a perfect example of attribution theory. She assumes the worst about his look.
Her insecurities just paint this whole dramatic picture, a whole soap opera from one look.
It makes you wonder how often we do that, right? Invent these entire backstories for a glance.
What's the cost of all that internal drama? And then the narrative says Liam bravely overcomes his disgust, which is almost certainly Mara's interpretation, right?
Has to be.
He comes over, stands behind her. He's described as massive, blocks the light. Mara feels warm, oddly tingly for just a tiny second.
Interesting. Little physical reaction there.
He just wordlessly drops a bag of Cheez-Its next to her hand and then asks in this gravelly voice, should I move them to a lower shelf for you?
Okay, so it's this unexpected practical help. It cuts through the tension without needing any big emotional talk.
Right.
And that gravelly voice, it's interesting, could be a cold, like the text says. Or it could just as easily be his awkwardness, right? His discomfort. We don't know.
And Mara definitely fills in the blanks with her own fears, which we all do in those ambiguous moments.
We do. And his action, it's like this nonverbal communication, a quiet attempt at something.
Yeah.
Helpfulness, connection, it contrasts so much with how little they're actually talking.
But even with this, brief physical closeness, this helpful gesture, Mara realizes she completely forgot to think of an olive branch topic of conversation during the whole mildly mortifying adventure. Back to silence. Another chance for a verbal connection just slips away.
It really shows how even when something positive happens, like him helping her, that default pattern of not talking just snaps right back if you don't consciously fight it. The silence habit is strong.
Okay, so we've had the silent truce, the Cheez-It near disaster. Now we get to the Nationals debacle.
Right.
This is Mara's final, really desperate shot at conversation.
Okay, third time's the charm.
Wait.
Maybe.
She just blurts out, the Nationals are doing well this season.
Oh, no. Does she even know if that's true?
Not really. She admits she just overheard a dude say it on the bus, and she assumes Liam probably likes sports because he plays video games. Oh, Mara. Talk about grasping at straws.
Oh, that is the absolute peak of conversational desperation, isn't it? Just throwing something, anything out there to fill the quiet.
Totally.
It's so relatable, though. That uncomfortable silence pushes us to just invent common ground out of nothing. trying to find any shared knowledge, even if it's totally made up.
It is, and at first, same old story. Liam gives a stiff nod, silence returns.
Oh, man.
And Mara's thinking about installing motion sensors in every room just to avoid him. That tells you how bad the discomfort is for her.
Yeah, that's a pretty extreme solution. It just reinforces how deep their non-communication goes. The silence is so awful that physical barriers seem like a better option. It's amazing the lengths we go to manage social anxiety.
But then, something different happens. Liam breaks the silence.
He does. What does he say?
He asks, "What sport is that again?"
Oh. Okay, that's unexpected.
Right.
That feels like the turning point. It's a genuine question. It's admitting he doesn't know. And it totally breaks the script they've been following, right?
Completely.
It's like a little moment of vulnerability. It signals he's willing to engage differently. More
Mercy.
authentically, maybe.
And Mara's response is just as good. "I have no idea."
Perfect.
And then Liam, the text says, with a gleam of amusement in his eyes, confesses, "Me neither."
Yes.
Okay, that's it. After all that struggle, the breakthrough isn't some shared knowledge or perfect comment. It's shared ignorance. And this little flicker of amusement.
It connects right back to that bigger picture, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Real connection often doesn't come from trying to look perfect or have all the answers. It comes from being authentically vulnerable. Yeah. Just admitting, "I don't know," or "me either," can be so disarming. It creates this space for connection that polished small talk just can't. It's in that shared imperfection, the "me neither," that a different kind of bridge gets built. It's like a moment of shared humanity. Their internal worlds finally clicked, just for a second, over something silly.
And the whole thing ends with them leaving through opposite doors. But Mara's wondering whether he's aware that we almost smiled at each other.
Ah, the almost smile.
That tiny, fleeting moment, it hints at something different, doesn't it? A little shift after all that awkwardness. A quiet win.
That almost smile is huge because it's unspoken. It suggests this shared moment of relief, maybe, a quiet acknowledgement of how absurd the situation was, the humor in not knowing about the Nationals. It feels like the first tiny crack in the truce, maybe hinting it could become something less strained, the fragile start of something new.
So why does this whole deep dive matter to you, listening right now? I mean, how many of us have lived through moments just like these?
So many, right?
Where our heads are just buzzing with thoughts, but what comes out is, well, awkward silence or a weird comment about the weather. This story gives us such a close look at those tiny interactions that make up our lives and the huge effort, often totally unseen, that goes into them.
It really drives home that communication isn't just words. It's so much about the unspoken stuff. Our internal chatter, our assumptions, our anxieties, those little gestures.
Like reaching for the Cheez-Its.
Exactly. Things that can build walls or sometimes surprisingly break them down. Just understanding that invisible layer can really change how we approach our own conversations. It helps us remember the other person probably has a whole internal monologue going on too.
And the big takeaway here, I think, is that sometimes the best connections, the most authentic ones, don't come from trying to be impressive or pretending you know things.
Right.
They come from shared imperfection, from a moment of just being honest, vulnerability, I guess, in a world that often rewards looking like you have it all together.
Yeah. It suggests those awkward pauses, those fumbling attempts. They aren't necessarily failures. They might actually be where real connection starts to grow, even if it's imperfect. When we get why Mara's brain spirals or why Liam is hesitant, we find empathy, not just for them, but for ourselves and maybe everyone we talk to. It's a reminder everyone's just doing their best, often with a full orchestra playing inside their head.
So we've journeyed through this painful, but also pretty funny landscape of human awkwardness and how we try to talk to each other.
Or avoid talking.
Or avoid talking. From the climate change lecture that never was, to the Cheez-It crisis, the Nationals confusion, we've seen just how much is happening beneath the surface of even the simplest moments.
It really opens up those complex internal worlds we all live in, even when we're just, standing in a kitchen. The sheer cognitive load of social interaction, especially when it's strained like this, is immense. Recognizing that gives you a real sense of shared humanity, I think.
So here's a final thought, something for you to maybe chew on a bit. Think about how many times we let our own internal stories about what other people might be thinking about us stop us from just being present, from being authentic.
Good question.
Could embracing a little shared ignorance, maybe, a moment of vulnerability, could that actually be the quickest way to connect? Like Mara and Liam's almost smile. What nationals moment might you have in your own life if you just dropped the pretense for a second and admitted, you know what, I have no idea either?